Okay.
So sorry about that.
Okay, well, hello everybody. We are live on Zoom. We are live on Facebook. And we are here today with Rachael Sall. Rachael is from the Colorado Lending Source, and we're going to start in a moment. Right now, we're just going to wait for a few more people to show up, so we can get some of our attendees here to sign in. But if you're ready, Rachael, in the meantime, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from, and where you grew up, and how many languages you speak, and maybe surprise us with something different.
Sure. So I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. I studied international relations in college. I always loved languages. So I moved to Buenos Aires, Argentina, so that I could learn Spanish. And I lived there for a few years, and then I moved here to Colorado. I'd say I dabble in some Portuguese. I can read and write Hebrew fluently, and I'm decent at speaking Hebrew, but I've lost it a lot. But and a little bit of Arabic, but I try to learn how to say hello in as many languages as I can. What about you, Ricardo?
Wow, well, I'm impressed. I'm not going to say because you already won. But yeah.
No, it wasn't a competition.
well,
your Spanish is better than mine, so
right.
I'm a little jealous there.
Well, so I do speak Spanish, and I speak English, and I speak Portuguese, business Portuguese. I am okay when it comes to social Portuguese. I speak restaurant and supermarket German, and a little bit more French than that, but not much.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah, well, but you speak Arabic and Hebrew and write it, and that's, like way beyond my league.
No, I don't speak Arabic. I said I dabble.
Ah, okay, dabble and speak is, yeah, you're right. It's not the same, but
yeah.
cool.
But,
wow.
yeah,
and Argentina?
No, I was gonna say here in Denver, in all of Colorado. I go to Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, so I'm happy to. I work for an organization where, well, basically, I love supporting Spanish-speaking entrepreneurs here in Colorado. So that's really what I think of in terms of I like to speak Spanish at work, and there's so many Spanish-speaking entrepreneurs in Colorado that, as someone who likes to provide resources for entrepreneurs and business owners, yeah, that's the most important language for me to know right now.
Very cool, very cool. Well, you surprised me, let me tell you. I wasn't expecting. I thought you were going to say Spanish and that's it, but I'll tell you what. That's great, Rachael. So with that, let's just start our program now. It is 3 minutes past 6, and I want to start by saying welcome, everybody. My name is Ricardo Cabrera, and I am representing the Latino Chamber of Boulder County. Today, we are having a special day because it is our first webinar that we do in English. So far, this is we've been doing this for a couple of months, and everything has been in Spanish. So today, it's a special day because we're doing a first one in English. And thank you, Rachael, for joining us. And I want to also thank Suma for helping us broadcast live this on their Facebook pages and KGNU and all the cultural brokers out there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, for taking some time off your day to listen to us have a little chat. And today we're going to learn about Kiva loans. But before we do that, I want to introduce Rachael Sall. She works for the Colorado Lending Source, and Rachael is a capital access manager. So Rachael, tell us about Colorado Lending Source. What is it and where is it at, and a little background on that.
Yeah, so I am very proud to work at this organization. We are a nonprofit, and we have been in Colorado for 30 years. Bread and butter, if you will, is facilitating SBA loans like the 504 and 7A. And we also just have various other loan programs we're associated with. We have our own Colorado Main Street loan program, and that's like a character-based loan program where we support startups and anywhere in Colorado. And we have a community advantage that we work with banks to get that funded, but some rural loan programs and women. So I love working for Colorado Lending Source, and so what they wanted to do is they decided to partner with Kiva to launch a Kiva Denver hub. And all that means is it's an official partnership between Kiva, which is an international organization we're going to talk about today, and a nonprofit in an area. So when I joined Colorado Lending Source in February, so just few months ago, and I was hired to do two things. One, to support small business inquiries, so people who are interested in financing for their business, and I'm kind of that first point of contact to help guide them and provide resources along the way to get them to be ready to apply, and also to help them figure out which loan program would be best for their business needs. So that's half my job, and the other half was to launch this Kiva Denver hub, so where we can provide Kiva as a option for people in Colorado.
Okay, so before we talk about Kiva, so you guys are like a consulting service provider, so you can help small businesses, startups, and minorities, and you name it, pick the right SBA product and other products. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, our mission is to foster economic growth and diverse communities. So yes, we are impact driven. So it's really important for us to be serving underestimated, underserved business owners. So that includes women, minorities, rural people in rural areas, and it goes beyond that. And so, yeah, we're constantly looking at data and things like that. So yeah, we provide education. We actually have like an entrepreneur boot camp coming up, but we see ourselves as an education organization that offers loans, and that's SBA and then direct loan funds that I kind of mentioned before. Yeah.
Very cool, very cool, very cool. And excuse me, so do you guys have a relationship with like the local SBDCs, which are part or the branches of the SBAs?
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, do you guys have a relationship with the local SBDC, so the Small Business Development Centers, which are a branch of the SBA? I mean, they are the local branches.
Oh, 100%. And so whenever people are, if you approach us and you're interested in something, I'm going to encourage you to send me a business plan and 24 months of cash flow projections. And I always recommend people to work with their local SBDC or another nonprofit called SCORE. We also recommend, and we work closely with that organization.
Wow, that's awesome. See, I already learned something new today. Let me ask you one last question about that. Do you also work and partner with other banks, or because you're not a bank, you're a consulting firm? So you've helped somebody get a 7A loan or a 5 loan, and then you work with other local banks to actually make it happen?
Yeah. Well, and I will say, like, I don't know that we're a consultant firm, and I see why you're saying that. We are very education based, and Colorado, but we are a lender, and we do help the SBA. We do work with like Community Advantage, for example, and other things. We do work with banks to finance business owners, business loans. But we do not work with any one bank in particular. It's really like if a someone comes to us and they already have a relationship with a bank, we're going to encourage them to keep that relationship. But we work with really all banks in Colorado. But we don't have a partnership with one over the other. I think, in fact, we make sure to stay pretty neutral on that.
Okay, and you guys are in Denver?
Yes, sir. We are located, although people have been working from home, obviously, from the pandemic, we're located on 18th Street in between Blake and Market.
Okay, very nice. Okay, so excellent. So with that, tell me, what is Kiva, and what does Kiva do? I mean, I know they lend money, but tell me a little bit about Kiva itself, and what they do.
Sure. So Kiva is an international nonprofit organization. They have offices all over the world, and they began in 2005. In 2011, they started to operate in the United States. But as an international organization and here in the U.S., their goal is it's a microfinance, small business loans, and especially their mission is to expand financial access to help underserved entrepreneurs and business owners. So basically, the idea of Kiva is to offer a business loan at 0% interest, no fees. So, which is funded by a multitude of lenders, which we can get into. But Kiva's a nonprofit, and essentially, Ricardo, Kiva it offers a technical platform for entrepreneurs to fundraise or crowdfund a loan.
Okay, so it's kind of like a micro lending and crowdfunding worldwide based, for their pool and something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I mentioned one time, it's kind of like a tanda, if people are familiar with that, where you have multiple people chipping in small amounts, except for it's more official because you have an entity, Kiva, who's managing all the payments and making sure. I'm excited to explain the process because it's not traditional, it is unique. So once I explain it is straightforward. It's just not, it is a crowd-funded loan. So that's it's pretty unique in itself.
Cool. So I want to say here, and sorry, I forgot to mention this earlier. Questions, everybody. If you have questions, you can go down here and click the question and answer option. And then I will see your questions here on my screen. And then I will ask Rachel whatever question you have. So please don't wait. Just send your questions as they come along, because we're going to be moving through the different topics, and you'll forget the question. So write it as you get it. Also, Jesse, Jesse Esparza?
Yes.
Wrote, and he says, "Hi, Rachel. Great to see you again. This is Jesse Esparza. Looks like you're back in the lending business. Give us a call. I have 3 clients that could use Kiva." There you go.
Awesome.
So there you are. I see you replied to him as well. So there you are. Let's move on. So tell me then, how do you borrow? What is the borrowing process to get money from Kiva?
Right. So I'm going to actually pull up a slide so you can have an image. And I'm actually also writing my work cell phone number. I just wrote it back to you, Jesse. And anyone who prefers to call, I also type this here before I forget.
Yeah. Since you're doing that, and everybody that's watching, I'm going to put down here, well, not down here right now. When we're done here, this recording, we're going to put it on our YouTube channel. And on our YouTube channel, on the description right down here, you're going to be able to see a little bit about what Kiva is and Rachel's information, website, email address, and everything. So you can contact her directly as you need. So here you go. You're sharing your screen, and the question was the borrowing process.
Sure. So the process is you submit an application online, and that's what I'm here for, to help you submit the most perfect application that you can. if Kiva offers loans up to $15,000, so if you're looking for a lower amount loan, you really don't have to the application is very simple. It should take you about an hour. If you're looking for the full 15,000, you'll have to upload a proof of business ownership and business bank statement. And everyone has to upload a photo of themselves. So that is something about this process. This application that you're filling out online, that I'm happy to help you with, it will eventually be published into a borrower profile page. And this is the, page, the website that is your crowdfunding campaign is centered around. That's where it all is. So you apply, submit it. The second step, Kiva's review team is going to do a soft credit pull to basically ensure you're not in an active bankruptcy. It's okay if you have a bankruptcy, it just can't be active. And it's okay if your credit is less than great or if you don't yet have credit. They just, like I said, essentially want to just make sure you're not in an active bankruptcy and you're not behind on a lot of payments, as they wouldn't want to put you in a bad situation by giving you a loan. So Kiva's review team will approve you for a certain amount to fundraise for. Then the crowdfunding process begins, which is made up of 2 phases, private and public. And basically Kiva says, hey, I'm going to give you a goal for your private phase. It's going to be, for example, depends on your loan size and what Kiva says, you need 10 people to lend you $25 each. If you reach that goal, you then move on to the public round where you have to then meet a dollar goal amount. And everyone this year who's gotten to public has met their goal. So it's really the hard ask from the borrowers, from what I've seen, is getting the certain specific number of individuals in their network to lend 25 each. But once you meet your goals, Kiva will then send you the loan amount to your PayPal account. Because of COVID, Kiva's offering a 6-month grace period on repayments. So then you get your loan funds, and your 6 months later you start making repayments, and those repayments will be through PayPal.
Wow. So
and that's the overview.
Right. So let me go back to the first phrase that you said, or the first part of the overview, is that it sounds to me like there's a social element to this, because you have to put in a little bit about yourself and your picture, and that goes public, so people know who you are and that you're working with Kiva, and that's great. I mean, it's something unique.
Yeah. It is, and I always thought the idea of Atando was cool, or the idea of everyone, and so that's why Kiva is able to offer a 0% interest loan, because if you think about when a bank wants to give you a loan, they always want to assess your risk as a borrower, because the bank wants to be sure they're getting paid back. When someone gets a Kiva loan, well, I mean, they're going to believe in your character that you're going to pay back the loan because you asked your family and friends to lend you $25 each. So it's kind of, I feel like it holds that accountability there, that accountability piece. And then I also think it's I think it's a great deal that it's 0% interest and no fees. And so that's whenever people ask me oh, that's a great deal. How is that? So I say, well, because there's an ask on the borrower, you have to do your homework, right. Or, and that's how you qualify, and that's how you kind of prove to Kiva that you're serious about your business, because you're willing to hone in on your network and make that ask.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. And it sounds like it's, I mean, anybody can apply for this loan, because, you could have a bankruptcy, although not active. You can have bad credit. And Kiva still looks at your case because of this social aspect and element, and it's almost a peer pressure thing, right? It's like if all your friends are loaning you money, there's a better chance that you'll pay this back once you get to the public round and you get the rest of the money. Right.
Yes, exactly. And Kiva is designed for the financially excluded individuals. So that involves, poor credit, things like that. So the only thing that will disqualify someone for Kiva, since you brought it up, is active bankruptcy, or if you've committed a violent or financial crime in the last 5 years. So I will say that is what would disqualify you, but that's about it.
How about legal status, so undocumented individuals?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So anyone can apply for Kiva. Your legal status is not important. The Kiva application does not ask for your social, nor does it ask for an I-10 number. So that's not even part of the application. So I highly encourage anyone to apply regardless of their legal status.
Wow, that's great. That's amazing. So
yeah.
Then, so what are the terms of the loan? So say you went through this, you did your private funding and then your private and public funding, and now you got whatever you borrowed. So tell me about that. What are the terms and how do you repay and fees and all that?
Yeah, so Kiva has this great partnership with PayPal, where PayPal handles all of Kiva's financial transactions. And can you still see my screen, Ricardo?
No, you're not sharing anymore. You can share again if you want to share another.
No worries. I will go back. Basically, I just wanted to show you these terms. Can you see that? Awesome.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, great. Awesome. So PayPal handles all of Kiva's financial transactions, from when the borrower receives their loan funds to when your network and people all over the world are lending to your campaign, it's through PayPal, to when you start making repayments on your loan, it's also through PayPal. All of it's through PayPal. And it's great. I haven't had any complaints. So when you pay back your loan, you can sign up for auto pay. Like I mentioned, there's a 6-month grace period. And if you look at the screen, it's showing various loan sizes. It's increments in 500. So I didn't list that all out, but you could have 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, and so on. These are the terms right here.
Okay. Okay. So you pick how much you want to borrow, right? So you say, okay, I think for my business I need $3,000, and that's how much you pick. Or do you say, here I am, and they tell you how much you can borrow? Do they give you a top?
Right. So Kiva is it's a holistic review of your application. So I would definitely encourage people to think about, I understand it's an unprecedented time, so it is hard to know exactly how much you need. But I also will say, if you ask for more, I don't think that it's counting against you. So, Kiva's review team is going to take a holistic view of your application and determine what they feel comfortable, as a monthly loan payment, and what they think would be a comfortable monthly loan payment for you. And but I've surely gotten several $15,000 loans approved. I've gotten people who've requested $15,000 and only been approved for 10 or maybe 8. And those individuals, there's no prepayment penalty. You can pay off the loan whenever you'd like. And once you pay off your loan, you are eligible to apply for another Kiva loan. So, and as a returning borrower with a good payment history, Kiva should be able to consider you for a little bit higher amounts. So that's an option if you don't get approved for as much as you'd like.
Okay, well, that sounds great. I think I want to apply for one. So what do I need to do to apply for a loan? How do I apply for a Kiva loan? So you mentioned you go to your website, you mentioned PayPal. What else? I mean, that sounds like pretty easy stuff.
It is easy. And if you're not, I think it's easy for someone who's tech savvy, and it's definitely doable for someone who's tech willing. So, and that's why I'm also here. So worst case scenario, I think everyone here, the fact that they're on Facebook Live means they would have no issue doing the application. If you prefer Spanish, I'm here as a resource to help translate the application, and even we can do it together, no problem. I would say for most people I encounter, they don't have an issue with it, and especially because as long as you get the application submitted, I can always update it or edit it from my end, obviously with your permission. But you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we're watching. You're seeing the screen.
Great. The application is basically going to ask you to upload a photo. As you can see, this woman has a bakery. So her, sorry, wish I had a larger picture of her before, but okay, never mind. Sorry about that. So you can see this business owner has a bakery. So it's a photo of her and some baked goods, and she's smiling. And so that's what Kiva asks for, is like a horizontal photo that shows you and your business somehow. I have a construction company where the individual is like with his on a construction site, and so that's perfectly fine. So you have to upload a video, a personal story where you can share as much as you'd like or as little as you'd like, just a little bit about yourself, because keep in mind, in the latter part of your crowdfunding phase, your profile page is going to be online and public to the world. So like Google, eBay, Deutsche Bank, or just a little nonprofit in Switzerland might be looking on Kiva and trying to support an entrepreneur here in Colorado. So that's why there's a little bit of the personal story, business description, and a little bit of what you intend to use the loan for. You're welcome to put like your social media links there too, if you'd like. And like I mentioned earlier, if you want to qualify for the full amount, you'll need to upload a recent business bank statement and proof of business ownership.
So there's the social element again, because this is like your loan application for other people to look at you and say, okay, I'm going to go with this person. Excuse me, and if the better this looks, the better chances you are at people picking you. Yeah,
sure.
That sounds great. So with that, go ahead.
Oh, just to explain that a little bit better, you might be asking that question. Sorry.
Oh well, no, go ahead.
Well, I think you know, some people might be like curious because I kind of alluded to like someone in Switzerland might be lending to your campaign. Well, it's in that public phase of crowdfunding, like once you meet that goal of getting, you know, proving to Kiva that you're serious and getting a certain number of family and friends to lend you $25 each, once you're in public, organizations like Google, eBay, Deutsche Bank, like just so many corporations, organizations, and individuals around the world will end up lending. And I don't want to like bore the audience, but there's incentives for this for banks to lend on Kiva because it fulfills their Community Reinvestment Act requirement of like lending to underserved populations, because Kiva can prove that they are doing that. So it is unconventional, but it is cool to see. If you go on kiva.org/lend, you can go in as, you don't have to do anything besides kiva.org/lend, and you'll see everyone that's on their public crowdfunding phase, and you'll see people in Colorado that are crowdfunding, and you could lend to them. So yeah, that's about it.
Wow, very cool, very cool. So you have your page, you've written a nice profile. What kind of companies can apply? Do you have to be like a sole proprietor or a LLC or a corporate or what, or just an individual with a dream? So do you have to have a company at all?
Yeah, just an individual with a dream, honestly. Like, it's designed for entrepreneurs that are like not as sophisticated. Because of COVID-19, this is a great option for anyone, but really like I said, if you want to apply, if you want to qualify for the full amount, you need to register your business, but you could register on the Colorado Secretary of State website and do a sole proprietorship, which is a very small fee. So sorry, I'm trying to find this slide of ineligible businesses. So really, if you are, there are some business industries or types of businesses that Kiva will not work with. Cannabis or CBD, hemp, no. And you know, no firearms, and if it's like a smoke shop, no. And then aside from that, no multi-level marketing. So like Mary Kay, or contract workers like Uber or Airbnb. So I wanted to make that clear because in the past, I know maybe there are some multi-level marketing individuals that unfortunately Kiva will not work with those types of businesses. So as long as you are your business is not one of those ineligible business types that I just mentioned, you are free to apply. I have a client right now who is just starting a new business. She hasn't yet registered with the Secretary of State, and she doesn't have a business bank statement, but she's only seeking $3,000 for just some inventory to get her started. So she's just applying, and all she's uploading is a photo and providing the written description. So she should be approved for the $3,000. But if she wanted more than that, she may want to think about registering her business or, yeah.
Okay. So,
which, by the way, I'm happy to help people with that process or explain to them that process.
right. So you're the facilitator for this, and you'll take anybody from zero to hero in Spanish or in English, and you'll help them do everything so they can have the best chance at being eligible and getting the loan from Kiva. That's great. So again, her information is going to be down here on the recording once it's recorded and published, so you can look her up. You can look Rachel up right there, and her email and her phone number and her website, and she's putting it up there right now. Anyway, so you have it now. So back to the loan. So this is great. So I went through the application, I filled it out. I am approved for a certain amount, and now I have to do my private fundraising, which is certain number of friends have to give me $25 each, and I have 15 days for that. If you meet that goal, then it goes to the public crowdfunding phase, which is a global entity, and anybody can be the person that gets you to the $3,000, whatever your private round didn't do, okay. And I'm said, I have a check, I've spent it, and now what do I need to do to start repaying my loan? So you mentioned 6 months. There's a 6-month deferral because of COVID. And after that, what happens?
Yeah, so when you receive the funds, you are welcome to start paying back whenever you'd like, but Kiva has a 6-month grace period offered. It's all through PayPal. So the way you received the loan funds in the first place was via PayPal. When you receive the funds, you're going to get an email from Kiva explaining to you how to set up your repayment schedule, and it'll all be there. I highly recommend autopay if people are comfortable with that. That way you don't have to think about it. And but you don't have to do that. You can also do, you'll have your payment schedule from Kiva, and you will make payments as they're due through PayPal. And since I'm saying that, after you make your first payment, PayPal is literally dividing up that payment. Let's say your loan payment is $100 a month. PayPal is going to take that $100 and divide it by all of the entities that lent to you in the private and public, and disperse it back to all of your friends and families and all the corporations that lent to you in an even increment. So maybe after your first payment, your uncle who lent to your business will receive back like $1 15 cents or something. I'm just kind of making that up, but it will be a small increment. And once you pay off the full loan amount, everyone who lends to you will receive back their full amount of what they had lent in the first place.
So it's basically divided equally amongst all the parts that funded you, and then for every dollar you put in, it gets divided in equal parts and repaid back. So questions. You have your PayPal account and it's all run through PayPal. Does your family and friends in your groups also have to create a PayPal to make this happen?
That's a great question. Yes, they do.
Okay.
So PayPal is pretty easy, but when it comes to promoting your crowdfunding campaign, I'd say actually that might be the biggest challenge is if people don't know about PayPal or they don't have a PayPal account, you do have to get them to create a PayPal account.
Okay, so
and this is like, yeah, go ahead.
you go.
I was going to say, if people understand, nonprofits and how a nonprofit, this partnership means a lot to Kiva, that they have such a big, a reputable business like PayPal just handling it for them free of cost. And it really allows Kiva to operate and be able to support so many people the way they do. So yeah, it's something they have to do.
Okay, very cool.
PayPal,
Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds like a win-win for everybody, and I'd almost say maybe it sounds like a PayPal company, but it's not a PayPal company. They're just using PayPal as the platform to transact the money, and it's already a global company, so it makes perfect sense that PayPal is the ideal partner for Kiva to do all of this.
Yeah.
So I have a question from
I
have a question from Jim Vernon, and he says, I'm just going to read it out here. Is it possible to coordinate on the lending side of Kiva? For example, maybe we could create a group or team on Kiva for the Latino Chamber to make it easier to promote loan applications by members or prospective members.
This question makes me so happy. And Jim, I really hope if you can reach out to me tomorrow by email or phone. I'm taking a picture of your question because, to be completely transparent with you, Jim, Kiva has told me that this is a great idea to do. When COVID hit, it was kind of like, I've got a flood of applications. I was, like I said, this Kiva launched in March. I'm like just backtracking a bit. Kiva launched in March, and up till today, me and my team, have been able to support 35 businesses with Kiva loans in Denver. So it's just been kind of like a crazy ride. With that said, I think this is a great idea, and I wish I had already done this. So that's kind of why I came at you with like, oh, I've been busy, because this is such a great idea. I really wish I'd already established this. And I think what we can do is make a Facebook group. Kiva, you can be so creative with Kiva. They encourage you to be creative. So that is, if you Google Kiva Denver, I do see there's a lending group that exists, but we can make a Latino Chamber lending group. And I partner with the Castle Rock Economic Development Center, and they do something very similar. They, in their news, whenever there's a Castle Rock applicant, I let them know, and then they can promote it with their newsletter. But I think Facebook or whatever you're thinking, it sounds really great. And if you'd like to put in your chat your email, I'd love to reach out to you, because I'm still learning Facebook, and I would love to, if you have any good ideas, and I do need to do that, and you can definitely do that.
And I have his information too. If you need it, I can just put you in contact with him.
Sure. I think it's just, I'm so glad he brought that up, because it would be and because Castle Rock promotes their own businesses with their email blasts and their newsletters, those loans end up getting funded quicker. And they have, so it would be that's a great thing that we should do.
Well, how about for students? Is this work if you want to pay for your schooling, or is it you have to be a business?
No, these are only business loans.
Okay.
So if you're a student who has an entrepreneurial spirit and is trying to do a side gig, if you're legitimately trying to start a business, then yes. But no, Kiva has to go to a business use, and it can go to any business use aside from refinancing existing business debt.
Okay, cool. So Jim just put his email there for you on the question and answer page.
Okay.
We've gone through all of this part. I got my money. I spent my money. It's, my business is thriving, or maybe not. Maybe my business did not do as I expected. What happens? Well, that's two questions. What happens first if I don't meet my crowdfunding goals?
Okay, so this is so important for everyone to understand. Kiva is a zero-sum game, all or nothing. If you do not reach both goals, you do not get the funds. So you must reach the private goal and the public goal. If you don't meet your goal, you will have to wait 6 months before reapplying, which is why it's really important to know you're ready to make that hard ask for your own network. And I will say, this year, 100% of the campaigns that made it to public were fully funded.
Right.
While I'm not saying to stop, I'm not saying stop promoting your campaign when you get to public. No, keep promoting it. But the hardest part is getting to that private. I think Kiva is a little difficult to explain, and as a new person on Kiva, perhaps I needed to, it was a bit confusing, so maybe some people signed up before they understood. But with that said, yes, it's all or nothing. You have to meet the goals in order to get the loan fund.
Okay, so what if you don't reach your private fund? Maybe I was $10 short, or one person $25 short. What happens then? Do you just get your money back, or your friends?
All of your friends will get their money back, yes.
Right. And then for what reason would you not fund the public phase? I mean, it sounds like you're saying that everybody's been funded, but maybe not during COVID times. Why would you not get publicly funded? Or does it have to do with your application, maybe with the social part of it? If your application looks like, this is not a business I want to invest in, then people won't?
It's really, I think, honestly, like, there's a lot of algorithms going on. So I would say that if you get past private and you're still like promoting, like, I wouldn't be too worried. And it's I have to choose my words carefully, but
right.
If you depending on what you're looking for, the loan amount, I would encourage you to contact me, and I can give you specifically what your goal would be. That way you can think about it and say, okay, I definitely know 10 people. 10 people for some is easy. For others, it's not easy. So we can discuss one-on-one about how much you're looking for, and then you can think about it, and that way, like, apply when you're ready so that you don't fail, if that makes sense.
Yeah, actually, and it goes back to, the two basic things that I see. It's a social environment, so that's important. And the second one, you're a resource, so you can make sure that you have the best chance at everything with Kiva. Even though you have a good chance anyway, you can make sure that they have a really, really good chance.
Definitely. I'm very invested. And so I would be checking up on you and saying, like, hey, you only have 5 days left. You only need 2 more people. And, in those moments, I've blasted out to my organization, hey,
okay,
this person just needs 2 more people. In that case, Ricardo, if this person was from you, of course, I'd be, Ricardo, please tell everybody they only need 1 more person. So while I can't say that I'm going to hold your hand, I'm definitely there to support you and to help brainstorm. And Kiva has resources of templates to use on social media, or, really, I think the best way is to make that list of 10 people by hand and call, like, very old school. Hey, this is what I'm doing. Don't worry, you'll get paid back. really appreciate it. By the way, like this $25 is going to get me like 10,000 at the end of the day. Oh, wow. Yeah. My business is going to survive.
So you still have to be a salesperson a little bit, at least, so you can get this money.
I mean, yeah, I get that. Like yeah, I get that. It's uncomfortable. I guess it's just compared to like other crowdfunding things, like they're going to get their money back. And it's $25, which it's not too bad, I guess. But yeah, I can understand that. I will say Kiva is not for everyone. I know it's not comfortable to do that. But as we've talked about today, like that is the model of Kiva, and it's modeled like that so that they can afford to give you know, a 0 interest, no fee loan. And yeah, cool. Not so much sales, but like explaining this is how, like, if I meet my goal, I'm going to get this bigger loan to basically explain to them what we've talked about today so that they understand how they're contributing. I mean, that's what would be my advice.
So here's so here's a question from Michaela Diamond. So what happens if you fall short of your goal? So this is how I'm reading it. Would you still get a loan for a lesser amount that you did raise? So say I'm looking for 15K and you're saying you need to get 45 people to give you $25, but I got 40. Yeah. Can I borrow 10 instead? Because that fulfills that part.
So the absolute most it would be is 40 people, but most in my experience, it's 30 is like the most. And whoever is interested, please contact me. I know that sounds a little encrypted. It's just a case-by-case situation, but 30 to 40 is going to be the absolute most. So unfortunately, no, if you don't meet your goal, you just don't get it. With that said, let's say you apply for 15,000. Kiva approves you for 15,000. They're going to come back to you and say, hey, Ricardo, we approved you for 15,000, but you need 30 people. Do you want to move forward? That's how it goes. Ricardo can think to himself, you know, I don't really feel comfortable asking for 30 people, but maybe I could do 10. You can say that to Kiva, and they might say, okay, well, we're going to have to lower the loan amount. And then you can say, you can think about it. So it just has to do with loan amount and
but before, not after.
I mean, like, I encourage you to apply for exactly what you want to apply for. But with me here, we can talk about like what the expectation would be in your specific situation. So I'm always here to like be very transparent about what is going to be expected. I guess all I'm saying is if you're approved for something and the goal seems like too difficult for you to reach or you don't feel comfortable, you can ask for a lower loan amount and Kiva can lower it for you.
Okay, cool.
Which would lower your requirement.
Yeah, right. But okay, cool. So, and I can use this money for anything.
Any business purpose aside from refinancing current business debt.
Right. Okay, so that sounds good. Well, let's see where we're at. Let's do a little quick stock change, stock check. We have 12 minutes left. So let me ask you one more question here, and then I'll let you close out with some interesting or something we didn't talk about. I have 2 questions. Can we apply for more than one Kiva loan? Say if I have 2 companies, register twice, 2 SOS, 2 secretaries, can I apply for 2 loans at the same time?
Oh, that's a great question. You stumped me. I will ask my supervisor and get back to you. I really don't know. My inclination is I'm not sure. I think that they might be hesitant. I think they might want you to successfully succeed one, and if you truly had another business, perhaps then launch the other. Because Kiva basically wants you to succeed. So I'm sorry, I've never encountered that yet. So I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, well, yes, and so thank you for that. I guess my, say if it was just me that I needed 2 loans, then I don't think Kiva does 2 loans for one person, right?
I don't think they would do it.
Yeah.
I think they would, if you had two businesses, there might be a chance they'd let you overlap, but I don't think it's smart to launch two campaigns at the same time, because Kiva won't let you do crowdfunding. You can't do a Kickstarter and Kiva at the same time, because from their data, it's not like as successful. You're hurting yourself. So I think that's how they would answer it, is no, because you're only hurting your chances of succeeding. But.
Okay, no, it makes sense, and it's reasonable that I would not be able to get two loans at the same time. You did mention that you could get one and then apply for another one afterwards once you've paid it back, and you have a better chance of getting it if you have a good track record. So let's think about the other extreme. What if I can't pay my loan back? So something happened and, it all went south and now I'm really broke and I can't pay you back. So what happens then?
So Kiva's payments team is very empathetic. So when a client is in that situation, if they are communicative with me and Kiva, they are more than willing to work with that person to set up a payment plan and to figure it out. So basically, I think, essentially, like with communication, Kiva's willing to work with you in whatever you're going through.
Okay, that's great. I mean, it sounds like it's a great company to work with, and they want to succeed. They want you to succeed, and they help you succeed no matter what. So Jim asked one more question here. Is CAM, C-A-M, a specific Kiva role, or is this just what you are calling your role in the Kiva process?
Yeah, sorry if that's confusing. CAM just stands for Capital Access Manager, which is like my official title of Kiva.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So last question, and then I'll let you close out your part, and I'll close out my part afterwards. How does Kiva make, the first question, how does Kiva make money? I mean, because it costs. I mean, for example, your salary, everybody else that is helping, people are invested in helping. So is there a money option for those guys, or did they take anything out of it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Kiva's team, like people who are actual Kiva employees, it's a very small team. It does not include me. I'm a Colorado Lending Source employee. And Colorado Lending Source decided to team up with Kiva. And actually, Kiva, it just has a handful of employees that are running their technical platform. They don't have to worry about the financial transactions as PayPal does that. People on the ground like myself are employed by nonprofits in the local area. So that handful of employees and the cost that it takes to keep the website running, that's really all the costs necessary for Kiva. So that's handled by like contributions, as well as fees that Kiva charges like partners, like like Colorado Lending Source, to partner with them. So that's basically how they make it. They're a nonprofit, so they're profitable enough to pay that small team and keep the website running, but not much more.
All right, excellent. No, that sounds great. It sounds great, and it sounds like it's a technology company willing to do nonprofit and helping the community with loans, and it's a great system.
Because they're not, exactly, and like their underwriting is pretty minimal, to be honest, because like they just are doing their due diligence to make sure they're doing a response, like they're not setting any borrower up for failure or putting them in a bad situation. They're a responsible lender, but aside from that, they're kind of letting the natural flow of the Kiva ecosystem give people loans and fundraise for people.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so with that, I'd say we've learned a lot from you today, Rachel. Thank you so very much for all the explanations. your magnetic personality. This was awesome to have, to talk with you today. And again, our information and Rachel's information is going to be on our recording down here on our YouTube channel after today. So if you didn't get it, you can see it on the screen. But if you didn't get it, you can look at it there later at any time. From my part, I'd say the Latino Chamber, I have to do a plug for those guys. If you're not a member, please sign up. You can see our information. Where is it? Right there. Facebook, email, website, YouTube page. If you're not a member, please sign up, because you will help us with all these things that we do for the community. And Rachel, why don't you give us a few closing words, and then we'll be out of here.
Sure. I would just say that I feel very blessed to work for Colorado Lending Source, because that's the reason I'm here and why I'm able to work with Kiva and explain this as an option. I'd also want to say that the reason I feel so lucky to work for them is that, as I mentioned, although we offer loans and we talk a lot about loans, we're really an educational organization. So I used to be a teacher, and I really see this as an extension of Kiva as an option. There's other options. I really like Kiva. I believe in it, but if you're struggling or you're just looking to grow your business, I'm always just someone here with resources. So yeah, that's I guess all I wanted to say. And thanks for inviting me, Ricardo. I've enjoyed working with Latino Chamber, and I like giving presentations with you guys. It's great.
And we'll do it again, I'm sure. So with that, I have a surprise question for you. Tell me, or tell us, what's your favorite hobby?
Hobby?
Yeah.
Fútbol.
Oh.
Soy re buena.
Excelente, muy bien. ¿A qué equipo le vas?
La verdad es que no, I'm not a fan. No soy hincha de fútbol. Soy como me gusta jugar. Bueno, if I had to choose, Defensa y Justicia.
Oh yeah, Argentina teams.
Yeah, they're like a Cinderella story team.
Oh, excellent. Well,
thank you so much. And I like Messi.
Oh yes, well, who doesn't like Messi? All right, well, Rachel, thanks again. Thank you, everybody. And till next time, yes.
Thanks, Ricardo. Thanks for coming.
Okay, here we go. Ooh.